Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared. It's time for Bridge to the Turnabout. Because we're playing as Edgeworth. Representing Iris. But honestly, probably Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh my, Miss Maurice feels that way about me.
Apparently. He isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed.
I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing.
Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him.
Does that mean Mr. Maurice is the witness today?
No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand.
Sister Bikini.
She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Deauxnim, correct? Also, are we ignoring the fact that Pearl is, like, missing? Like, we still haven't found Pearl yet.
That's correct. It wasn't me.
Very well then.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes.
You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed...
Don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements.
I see.
Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I'm a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. The fact that he does call Phoenix his friend is very sweet, considering that he was just like, God damn it, Larry. And just going to being like, oh, like, here's like my friend.
Mr. Edgeworth?
I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted.
Very well, sir. I'll leave my defense in your capable hands.
It feels so weird to give her that, like, Southern Belle accent when she's in, like, the Fey uniform. Or, like, the spirit channeling one. Oh, wait, why is he back? Why do we got the like, there's nothing wrong with the Canadian, but shouldn't he also know who Miles is? I mean, you know what, let's go with the flow. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case was already over before it had a chance to begin. I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. The court finds the defendant. Objection! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I was really thinking, like, right before filming, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen to Godot, but I'm like, you know, the one really bad thing that I haven't enjoyed is the fact that it's felt like the prosecutors outside of Miles have just kind of been, like, throwaways. Oh gosh, I wasn't ready for this, and I don't remember how she sounds. The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Francisca von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Oh my god. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Perchance, you wouldn't be any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Why do we have no in-country judges? This is the second This is the second attorney in this case that is flown in. And there's only 2 attorneys in this. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth, how do you not recognize it? Yes, Your Honor.
I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things?
How many trials are you doing on a daily?
Again, how many trials are these people doing, or how much ketamine are they on,
to literally forget probably one of the most intense, like, court cases that we've had, because the only person to have died in the witness stand was in Edgeworth's first trial with this dude. How is no one remembering this?
You look very much like a prosecutor I met once.
I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say?
There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office.
There isn't?
But I'm sure once before in this court... I told you, there is no such weakling. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip it.
Hold it! I have no objection to the whip. Take that out of context, my guys.
You don't.
The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there's still only one truth. That is what I stand to prove here to prove today.
This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth.
Wait, does Francesca not know that, like, I mean, I guess, like, probably under the assumption that Manfred was just an absolute terrible father, too. Like, she wouldn't know that, like, Edgeworth did also study under her father.
But, like, I'm just like,
is she just going along with this and, like, yeah, sure, I want to kick his ass in court? Like, I fully believe that Francesca is the kind of, like, person to be willing to do that. It's like, yeah, sure. Like, I wouldn't get the opportunity to do this any other way. I'll just pretend like I don't know him. That works for me. Or does she actually just not know who he is? Wait! Wasn't there the one case, oh gosh. What was the one with the, villain, actor? Oh, shoot. I can imagine his name. It's in Justice for All. But I thought Miles was prosecuting on that. And then Francesca was the one that came in with, like, the evidence. Because she does, like, the Shan sort of thing. And I was like, this is, like, a perfect thumbnail. I was like, I'm going to use this for the thumbnail. And then YouTube was like, here's an automated thumbnail. And it was that. I feel like they've at least met once. So I'm thinking, like, she's intentionally like, yeah, I want to kick his ass in court. I'm gonna go with that belief. Okay, we're suspending belief and working it.
I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today, but looking at you now, maybe this is what I've been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers.
Yes, okay. I know what we're working with. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I see you brought the flair for the histrionics. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court.
The stage is set. Now continue with this proceedings, Your Honor.
Very well, Miss Von Karma. Please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible.
The murder victim is famed picture book author Miss Elise Deauxnim. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue.
Also, I apologize if Francesca's voice is not accurate. It's been like 2 years. I was not expecting to see her, so I didn't even think about, like, refreshing and trying to remember what she sounded like. But I'm kind of trying to remember. But we're also using my very shoddy brain cell. The sword in this picture, is the weapon in question correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene.
There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there was a witness to her crime.
Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney.
Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for a back pain-plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please.
I love the fact she's just so short.
Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little me, well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it, Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. You don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave the sanctuary at once.
I absolutely love that. God, I'm trying to figure out who my favorite prosecutor is, and I don't know. Because Godot is fun and crazy. Francesca is just an absolute badass. And Miles Edgeworth is Miles Edgeworth, but you gotta love him. I'm just like, damn. I don't know. You want me to leave?
No need to get your bikinis into twists. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer.
In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question.
That's right. I could still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that.
Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? I feel sorry for my friends who are Canadian. It is like, I did not do like a really big Canadian accent, but I'm like, I feel like it would be bad.
That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training at the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So, I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no baths at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was after I'd finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it.
So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple.
Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple.
That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made.
There is only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle now, are you, Miles Edgeworth?
I did not get that the right flow, but it's fine. Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Okay, the first thing, we have... We have her... However, the fact that 10 to 11... Okay. Like, I think the only thing that we have is this.
Hold it!
Let's press that. You left Iris to help with what?
What do you think? The acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercise proper.
Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple?
Well, the job is simply to watch over the acolyte so they don't pass away.
Just to confirm this point again that night. You met Iris in the inner temple, correct?
Yes, she's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions.
Okay. Oh, wait.
Because if that happened at 10, she would have been ringing the lights out bell.
I guess we'll present this. That seems to be really the only thing. Yeah, this seems to be the only thing.
Objection!
Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on the powers of observation and memory, after all.
Well. Don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple.
In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all.
No! She said that? A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back.
But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi.
But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie.
She does indeed have honest eyes.
All people lie, that is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here?
Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means we must call your memory into question.
Dear. You're older than me, and yet you want me to play that game, do you?
Well, that isn't exactly what
My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter.
Then, I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. It's naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about... Yeah, we're really hitting that strong Canadian accent here. And let us return to the cross-examination. Okay.
She wasn't! Because Iris gave Phoenix her hood.
Let's just go ahead and present. I know it's this. Objection! Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant who you claim to have met. She was wearing this demon warding hood, correct?
Of course! That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait, so are we hitting the twin theory now?
Or are we just like, there's multiple hoods? I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there. Why do you have that?
That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night. Before the light-out bell was rung.
What?
You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood.
Whoa!
It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order!
Wait, sister, this hood, you have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them.
I see. Stockpile. Surplus of hoods.
Each nun is only given one hood, but this should be the only hood that Iris owned.
Then this is quite strange. I just realized something. Okay, so you see this ball in the middle? I don't know what that's for, but I'm wondering, because we're missing the amethyst that's in the staff. I'm wondering if that, on fake Iris, Dahlia, whoever, was that one. I just saw that and I just, like, that connected in my head. This is quite strange.
If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here.
I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. Seeds of doubt.
Witness! While I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on the way back to the inner temple.
The seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. I just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradiction, stimulation.
I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. As I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was... Oh, Mystic Elise! With that sword, of all things! Wait, but in this, it's, like... She doesn't have it here, though. Also, the other thing is what is the purpose of killing Elise? Wait, Pearl. Was Elise literally just like... I'm using stuff that I unintentionally learned when I was trying to make thumbnails. I need to stop. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out into the courtyard. The stabbings I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. I'm not gonna lie, I am going to end up blending Bikini and Francesca's like voices together because they're kind of similar but like a little bit different, and I'm like, oh no. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name? Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Oh, this is so much fun. I genuinely thought, okay, the end of Justice for All was going to be my favorite. I think this might be my favorite case. But I just love, like, kind of the back of... I'm just... Oh, my gosh. I'm just so sad that the trilogy's ending. I finished my bath around 11. Thought I should return to the inner temple. Heard a noise. What makes you so sure of all this? It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump, just like that. You're one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report states that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet in height. Appears that the witness was not mistaken then. Yep, I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. There's only 2 of them working there. What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark. It doesn't feel like she's lying. It was very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have only seen the incident in which the defendant stabbed the victim. Only 2 things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. Hold on. No, not that one. Wait, after death. Okay.
How far is it from your room to the inner temple?
Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway toward the main hall.
Hold on. There are two things that are bugging me. Nope, not that. First of all, that happened at 11, but the autopsy report says she died before 11, and then also the body fell after death. The other thing... is this would have happened around the time. So I want to... do we present here? After she was pushed out of the window. It didn't happen because the body fell after death. Impressive logic, that's what I'd like to say anyway.
Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter.
However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report?
The autopsy report?
The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right, it says after death right here. A scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Order! Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that's the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree?
That is the logical conclusion. Yes, you're right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And then she was thrown out of her window down to the courtyard below.
Were there any signs of struggle in Miss Deauxnim's room? She was stabbed with a sword that would leave a bloodstain, wouldn't you agree?
Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Also, literally, she came in day of. She had no opportunity to do anything with the investigation. They flew her in today. I know I'm making excuses for her, but I think she might be, like, I will make, for these prosecutors, I will make excuses. Because, like, seriously, like, you're literally, like, I don't even think she probably had enough time to, like, look over the case on the flight, and that was it. So I think this is day after. Like, considering that Edgeworth also the day before flew in to deal with all this. Like, it's not like we've had much time to do an investigation. I'm just saying. No traces of blood were found in the victim's room, which just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard.
However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim that...
I am sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood.
When it produces the most blood,
very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed.
Indeed. With the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. Yeah, because basically, like, so when you stab, like, it doesn't have anywhere to go. And this is actually why they say, like, if you get stabbed and they don't immediately, like, it's not like a stab and then immediate pull and then run, like, they take the weapon. If it stays lodged in, and it's the same with, like, arrows and stuff like that. If you get shot with, like, a bow and arrow, like, the best thing to do is to leave it there because it is going to be able to prevent it basically, like, it doesn't have anywhere for the blood to go. Like, it does leave it stopped up. Like, you don't want to leave it in there forever, but, like, long enough until you could get to, like, a hospital or anything like that. And it's the same also with bullet wounds. Like, if you get a bullet, like, stuck in you or something like that, so long as it's not, like, you do have some amount of time, but most of the time it'll go straight through. But, like, if it gets, like, caught in, like, particularly, like, a thigh or something like that, where there's a lot that it can block, or even, like, your stomach or something like that, it's best to leave it in, because once you take it out, then the blood in your body has somewhere to go. With that, it kind of just, it prevents it from going out. Because again, just like anything, like if it has a way of going out, it will go out that way. It's just like if you take like a water hose or something and then you clench it, it's not going to still go through. It's going to just kind of all hold up for the most part, I think. But I do know the thing, like knife wounds, like if you get stabbed and the knife is in, leave it in until you get to the hospital. Same with bows, same with bullet wounds, all of that. I literally just spent so much time looking into this because I have to write about it for a book. Or not have to, but I am. And I was like, oh, okay, is it going to be better if the bullet is in, if it's clean shot, or if it's lodged? And I was like, I am spending way too much time looking this up. Okay, I'm going to stop. This is why I like doing like these like investigative like games, because like I've had to spend quite an amount of time like doing research and stuff like that for like criminal investigation and stuff like that. So I always love like adding like what little knowledge I have to the story and just like little bonus info. It's like fun facts. Eventually I will learn what the prices are of human body parts on the black market, but I do not know those right now. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. Perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion then. Wait. No. Wait, okay. So, unless Bikini lied about seeing the body, like, being there almost immediately after the body dropped. Like, if it was delayed, unless you had some sort of, like, rope system to delay it, so when Ira/Dahlia/whoever gets down there, you're going to have two people. If it actually was timed that way, there would have had to have been two people. One to push the body out, and the other one to stab and frame, or Iris just stabbed her together. We don't know. And I don't know which it is. I'm wondering. I'm still on the twin theory. The twin theory, I always feel iffy about, but you never know.
We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place.
But wasn't that also a big-ass sword?
This removes all of the contradictions. But again, throwing a body out with the sword, you wouldn't be able to land it right there, though. Order. I must admit that this is a probable version of events. I expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please. Remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please, give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here.
With the whip?
Oh, boy. All right. When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back.
This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory.
Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth.
Perfection is an impossibility for Franziska von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. Hasn't she technically learned this? Because she did lose several cases against bumbling Phoenix Wright.
God, I want like 20 more. Like, I know we've had like spin-off games, but I'm just like, I want more of this. Looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. Think carefully, this is very important.
It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. Now, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body.
Might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports her theory.
The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth.
But did she... We still don't have the sword being removed, though. Hold on. We don't have...
Hold it!
By Mystic Ami, you are referring to the golden statue, correct?
Just stabbing someone with the Shichichito sacred treasure is terrible enough, but then to make Mystic Ami hold the blade! Truly, a heinous, despicable crime.
It's easy to despise something, anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hard for you. Anyways, what is the problem?
Exactly why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that?
No, I don't think I can. There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts. That's true. In early spring, for example, I often find myself...
There isn't always. The phrase might come in handy someday. There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Or was it necessary to use the Shichishito from the Ami statue as a weapon? Why was the weapon ultimately placed back in the hands of the statue? If I could expose the flaws in his testimony, perhaps I will be able to begin to find the truth.
What does she mean already in place, though?
At that time, was the victim bleeding?
Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course, so I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound.
In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the incident in which the victim was stabbed?
I can't find
What the contradiction is. Wait! She just said that she didn't see the blood, but then she says, I've never seen so much blood before.
Hold it!
So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood?
That's right. Some of it is spotted onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner.
What? Clothes were blood-flecked as well. That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? We always press further because we always get more information. Even if it's dumb. Gives us more to play with. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw a little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now, you saw the victim bleeding.
Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw.
What did you see?
Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day.
Pulling the sword out?
Well, it wasn't exactly pulling, it was more like it came out.
Witness, you will add the statement to your testimony.
Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine.
It wasn't plunged to the hilt. There's no way that would get plunged to the hilt.
Hold it!
Smoothly, you say? You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out?
That's right. The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mystic Ami. Mystic Elise was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried to the hilt. When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mystic Elise's body. It slid out from that gaping wound.
It goes without saying that if the sword was removed, there would be bleeding.
Nothing out of place here.
Is that really the case? I can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That something which couldn't possibly have happened appears to have happened.
It didn't plunge to the hilt because it's only the edge of it. There would be more blood on it.
Objection!
Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here.
What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about?
It is seen that the witness claims to have seen. The weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities.
Oh, I was just looking at the blood. When you look at how the Shichishito does, there is no way that that's coming out smoothly because of the curvature. Explain yourself.
To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone with the hilt to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that.
Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I, too, may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep. So should I so choose?
The objection stands. I whipped a little back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. I love how, like, the most obscure and insane things are said, and there is, like, little to no, like, what sort of factor. It's just like, whatever, this is a Tuesday. If the sword is truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. Certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. Also, there's no blood on the hilt of it. It's only on the edge. It's not all the way through. That's what I paid attention to. Nothing to do with the fact that the curvature of all the side blades. We also have the problem with the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wounds would have been too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the Shichishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss.
I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more? This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, there should be blood along the entire length of the sword.
No.
What?
Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that.
Yeah, I focus on the blood. I'm sorry to let you down, Francesca. What does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer.
And that is...
the weapon used to kill the victim is not the Shichishito. What?
A foolishly foolish idea born for the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool.
Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think the sword was a murder weapon?
Well, it's because Misagami was holding it.
Exactly. However, to reflect on this, there's only the basis we had to assume such a thing. Your impression left by the scene was just too strong. That's what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shijishito was a murder weapon.
I mean, wouldn't you be able to tell from like one big hole to like multiple littles? So maybe the Shijishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that's the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object.
That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution add to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to?
Wait. Are we doing the icicle theory?
Like, the entire theory in which, like, I don't know if it's, like, I've seen people bring this up where it's, like, the ultimate, like, murder weapon. Like, you know, you have, like, an icicle, you stab someone to death with it, and then, like, once it melts, like, your murder weapon is gone. Any prints that you had, like, you would still have the blood, but, like, that could easily get washed because once the icicle melts and you have, like, the water, you can just easily clean it. And it's a lot of the times, like, I think it's in, like, you know, murder mysteries and stuff like that, especially old ones where it was like, there's no murder weapon, but the victim was stabbed, and, like, we can't find anything, and it's because, like, it's, like, an icicle or something like that. It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us on as to if a sword-like object was found.
That's...
Answer the question, Miss Von Karma.
No evidence of that kind was found.
Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast.
Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there.
What exactly are you going on about here?
The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of.
You what?
Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister.
Impossible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen?
This is getting so hard. I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. and after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
What if it was Larry? I still love the idea that Larry has been pulling this long con of being an absolute idiot, but, like, conveniently being in locations for, like, these big murders. Because, like, one thing we had, like, now that I think about it, when Larry was, like, the security guard, with Bullard, like, it was something that I was, like, glancing at, but it's, like, we never figured out, like, what he was actually murdered with. And I'm wondering now, like, as, like, you know, Larry has been, like, playing the fool, but in reality it's kind of like this whole fake thing. Kind of, spoilers, like how Naruto is with, Toby. Although, granted, I feel like Toby was a retcon and then they just completely changed the characterization because they wanted kind of like a joke character in the Akatsuki. That's just my personal feeling because it never really felt like it was set up for who Toby actually was. But, like, that entire idea of going from, like, you know, having, like, this fun, goofy doof of a character and then being, like, the ultra, like, supervillain. I'm curious if we get that with Larry. Kind of how we got with Justice for All with that one actor dude, where he just immediately switched to like a very stereotypical like villain sort of vibe with like the slick back of like his bangs. I'm curious. I love speculating in these games. It's so much fun. Huh. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time.
Well, I'm not in the best of shape, what with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is a photograph.
Snowmobile. Certainly is an interesting theory.
The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. And that solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon.
But you also don't have the murder weapon. She really goes to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please? There is one thing. Is the staff and that, like, the orb being missing from it. Saw them murdered around 11. After asking to be reported, went out to the main gate. Do we have any contradictions for any of this? This is the only thing that we're missing, is the fact that there is no amethyst here. Which could theoretically make sense for Dahlia, because that would have been worth the money. Wait, but the fire. Hold on. Because the bridge would have been on fire at that point. I don't think she would have been able to see the bridge from there. Okay. Okay, let's press everything. You're sure about the time?
Yes, I was worried about it after all.
Why was that?
Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the same time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night long now, could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple.
Her estimation of the time seems reliable, at least.
Please continue, sister.
Is that what we're supposed to be focusing on? Wait.
Hold it!
But the fire. Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for?
Like I said, somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. It's possible to get to the bridge back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile.
I have to concede that there's more than enough time.
Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth?
I'm thinking it's definitely involving that, like, the fire, but I'm not sure. But wouldn't you have seen the fire from the fucking bridge? That's the thing that I'm kind of questioning, is the fire. Because, like, you would have heard it, you would have seen it, you would have smelled it. Right? We're gonna try this.
Objection!
I don't think it's this. Hold on, the statement contradicts the evidence provided by these. Okay. Okay, it wasn't that. So I was like, this is way too, like, generic. I feel like it has to be that, though. Oh, okay. So I did not look at something. There's only one track. They drove it there, but didn't leave with it.
Objection!
I admit that this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder.
You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth.
However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks?
What do you mean?
Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If that was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back.
Ah, you're right. You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction, now doesn't it?
I see. Well, she was the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow.
What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth?
Is there a flaw in her theory? Let me double check when it was snowing. Oh no, not this again.
But it didn't end
At 11. Ended before that. This idea that the snow covered one set of tracks. It's a contradiction. It's always a contradiction. The tracks of the river were covered by the snow. What a nice theory. However, Ms. Von Karma, that is impossible.
Would you care to explain? Why, there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction.
No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Ms. Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, please present your evidence to the contrary. Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by the snow. Because if it was 11 p.m., it wouldn't have covered it. If we trust her time.
Take that!
Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime.
Like I said, it was around 11.
Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. This is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11, the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks to be made at that time to have been covered up. Order! Order! Very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in.
It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct?
No, you've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast, this is actual data.
Forecast data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11.
It's true, we cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far, there's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony.
You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth.
Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where's your evidence that it already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? It's the fact that there was no snow on her. There's no snow on Elise. Is that what we're going with?
Take that!
Yeah. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed.
And that's right, but proving that is
Incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception.
and that is
The victim herself, Miss Elise Deauxnim. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of a murder weapon, then in this photograph there should be two sets of tracks. Order! Just what are you
suggesting, Miles Edgeworth?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself. This is simply what all the facts point to. That night, someone used a snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. When the tracks left, it could be understood they were headed for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing.
Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by snow.
Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple... Was it Larry? The snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Was it Larry?
Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple.
But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance.
The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot.
That sounds right.
But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to the Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too.
That isn't possible. I was like yawning during that, and I'm like, of course it automatically skips. Order in the court. What does this all mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. It was Larry, I swear to God if it was Larry. But then, wait, is my, supervillain Larry theory coming true? If it was Larry. Because why would Larry have planted the keys in Iris's room? Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of a murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be two sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. Never
thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I have nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know. But then, it still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness, who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking, perhaps, near Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. There we go. Unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out into that subarctic night. Your Honor, actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? Do you know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not. There are two things about him that do come to mind, which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder, and the second being, this individual that I'm thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. And also, he's an idiot. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're referring about? Where is our idiot? Larry. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc de la Duc's guide to obnoxious French painting. This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim Elise Deauxnim. Her student? Interesting. Why was he wandering about last night outside on the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but if I may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist who was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well, Larry. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. Court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Ms. Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. And that's where the episode ends. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm so excited. The fact that Francesca Von Karma's back. Although it really feels like Godot wasn't in this for that long. I hope we get so much more. I'm hoping, like, I want this, like, trial to last, like, a very long time, because I'm like, I am genuinely just enjoying it so much. And I'm like, I'm kind of, like, are we seriously gonna wrap everything up? Because we still have the mystery of Godot. We still have everything with, May Fey. Was that Mia Maya's mom's name? We still have everything with Dahlia. I'm also under the presumption that something is going to happen with Larry. I just have a gut feeling. But, like, usually my gut theories are wrong. But I'm just like, I feel like we might be able to wrap everything up, which is going to be really sad when we do, because then it's like, there's no more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Like, I know there's a spin-off, so I'm like, I want more of this. And I'm like, I think the others are like the investigating aspects, which were still really fun, but this is just, I'm just having way too much fun. But I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. And I will see y'all next time for when we
interrogate, because it's definitely going to feel like an interrogation. 1 Larry Butts. But I'll see y'all then. Bye.